Hi, Kelly. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's nice to be here, Elisha.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming, Kelly. It means a whole lot. Thank you. Okay, I am so excited to have you on the show for diverse reasons. Okay, firstly, I strictly believe that knowledge is the solution to what's problem. And secondly, I am of the belief that there are some things that Kelly knows that some of my audience needs to hear this stuff directly from your mouth in order to experience transformation. I firmly believe that. And thirdly, even I myself will learn one or two things from your story, your insights, your experiences. I also believe that. So for that reason, Kelly, I want us to get started with your introduction, your journey so far, the challenges that you face and how you overcame them. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Kelly, over to you.
Okay. Well, I guess the biggest challenge that I've ever experienced in my life is being raised by people who didn't know how to be the kind of human beings I wanted to be, who didn't know how to parent with kindness. Instead, the default that they experience, so there's no blame, was shame and anger and all the negative emotions, and not learning because of that environment how to regulate my own emotions, how to articulate what I wanted from people in a way that was good for them and for me, and using all these really unkind tools that I had been taught and given in my life, and seeing how destructive it was on the relationships that meant the most to me. And so part of my journey, part of why I do what I do and ended up where I am, is because I wanted to learn how I noticed that there are people that had the kind of life I wanted, that treated me in ways that felt good and seemed to be able to treat everyone so that the people that they were interacting with felt good. And I admired their skill set and I wanted to learn that. So fast forward, I'm a dating coach now, and a big part of what I do is help my clients set boundaries that keep them safe emotionally, physically, financially, but also do it in a way that is brings in respect rather than anger from others, that keeps them safe but also makes it makes it enjoyable to interact with them. And that it's a hard balance. Most people haven't had that kind of training.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's a hard balance, I tell you. And that's a great job you're doing because, I've
Thank
heard of stories, right? Yeah, where because they don't know how to protect their feelings, their emotions, their finances from, then it resulted to all sort of tragic experiences. So that's a great one you're doing, I tell you. So that's going to lead us to the very first question. Shall we get started with the questions?
you. Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. So, why is online dating so unsafe? Can you talk to us about that?
Oh, that's a really great question. It's this kind of juxtaposition. Online dating is so unsafe because everyone's going there, the real people that are using it, trying to be their best selves and find someone to love. So there's this, when you're in that dating place, you've kind of got to suspend, you can't have your walls up. You can't be defended, right? Or in a traditional way. So people, when they take down their walls, sometimes they don't know how to keep bad things out except with walls, like big thick walls. And so I teach my clients how to have boundaries, how to build a moat, like, to use an analogy, how to have a boundary that doesn't look as fierce but still keeps you safe. But most people feel like, okay, I either need to have my wall up or my wall down. And so they go online thinking, I've got to have my wall down to meet someone. But it's so unsafe online because you never know who the person is you're connecting with, whether they're a real person, whether what they're telling you is true. And So people have to have faith, but I teach my clients to have faith with like a verification process, right? But most people don't do that. So there's this huge unsafety because people are going in, they're like just like gritting their teeth and lowering their defenses and stepping into the lion's den without any way of knowing what's going to happen. And fortunately, most people online, 98% of people online are just doing the best they can. Now, they might not be the best version of themselves yet, but they're not deliberately trying to harm you. But the ones that are scammers, the ones that are predators in some way, shape, or form, they have the potential to really hurt you. And if you don't have those boundaries, even the people that are good people, if you don't know, if you can't see that, oh, okay, this person, they have some unhealed issues and they tend to lash out or they tend to withdraw, you can get in a lot of emotional pain getting in with the wrong person. So that's kind of the spread of why it's so dangerous. People just don't know how to filter out and figure out not only who's real and who's at least trying to find a partner, but of the people that are real, who actually is capable of being a good partner.
Well explained. I got that. Okay, so let's say someone asks you, "Hey Kelly, what do I need to know in order to date online safely?" What would your response be?
Oh,
You mentioned about creating boundaries. Can you talk more about that?
so it cut out a little bit. I mentioned what? Can I talk a little bit more
Okay,
about that?
boundaries, creating boundaries, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first thing everyone needs to know when they do online dating is you need to protect yourself, your personal information, your family fiercely. Even if you meet someone incredible, even if you meet someone that seems like they are like everything you ever dreamed of in a person, because one of two things will happen. If you protect your boundaries fiercely and this person is the right person, they'll really respect that you can keep yourself and those you love safe, and that will make them feel safer in your life. And of course, if they're not who they say they are, this is going to keep you and your family and the people you live with safe from someone that could be predatory in nature. So definitely getting those boundaries, but also having a plan for how that's going to play out. Um, One thing I tell my clients is, until you see someone in their life and the life that they describe to you matches the life that you're observing, you really don't know. You really don't know. So just having this understanding, this kind of one foot in, one foot out, but being able to commit at appropriate levels so that there is a connection, because you want tenderness, you want love, you want connection, you want romance, you want intimacy, you want all those things that make you very vulnerable. So making sure that your boundaries really keep that vulnerability safe.
Okay. Okay, so what do you say that don't give your name and other information out?
Yeah. So if you give your last name, if you give your telephone number, someone very easily, there's something, it's called True People Finder. You can find somebody online. You can find their address. You can find out where they work. There is a lot of information that somebody that you don't even know who they are. If you're, say, you have a couple interactions and it's fun and you're enjoying it on an app, and you say, "Hey, let's start texting." It feels really safe. It feels like, oh, we're just texting. I'm not letting them into my life, but you don't realize you've opened a door for somebody that wants to find out more for nefarious reasons. And I actually had a girlfriend one time, had someone show up at her door with flowers, and it really freaked her out. Like, and the man never came back again, so he wasn't stalking, but he didn't really understand how that was scary for her to have had that experience happen. So you don't want to give out your phone number, you don't want to give out your name, you don't want to give out the information you don't want to tell people, "Oh, this is my favorite coffee shop, I go there all the time." You don't want to give people information that allows someone that you don't even know to find you before you want to be found. And the other reason I say don't give out your phone number, or at least in your, there's ways to do it. But if you give someone your phone number and their name starts showing up in between your best friend and your mom and your kids, or people that you know and trust, there's this leakage of a feeling of trust that we don't even realize it's subconscious. And so all of a sudden, this person is in my contacts. They feel like a friend. And I've had I've had this same experience where you give someone a higher level of credit for friendship that then they have earned. You know, the other people are in your contacts because they've shown up for you day in and day out and you can really trust them. And then you have this bleed over of this person, and that will feel like a connection when they may or may, they haven't done anything to earn that level of trust.
Okay, I got that answer. Okay, so can we talk about the biggest mistakes, that people make when dating online, and, you know, the mistake could probably cost them and their loved ones safety and peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the biggest, which is giving out your phone number or
Mhm.
your address, or any, like, where your kids go to school, anything like that, that somebody that, now 99.9% of the time this isn't going to be an issue, but the one time that it is, it could ruin your life or cause major harm. So this is why we protect against it. And there's no reason for anyone to know that information until you're actually in a dating relationship where they're showing up in your life and you see that their life looks like how they said their life looks, not just that they're showing up and giving you presents and being amazing. You need to verify that where they worked is where they work, and the friends that they have, and that they actually have friends. That's a huge indicator. But the biggest things that will jeopardize safety, like I said, is the phone number, the address, that basic information. But it's also, if you meet someone in a non-public place, if you have them pick you up at your house, even if I've had people say, well, I was at an Airbnb. I'm like, well, okay, so they can't stalk you at home, but they can certainly come back to the Airbnb after they drop you off. They know where you are. The other, then, um, one of the things is making sure that your first date with someone isn't in the woods for a hike, that it's that you don't go back to somebody's house. If I know people do hookups, and I have no judgment about that, but there was just a recent case in the past 2 months where a woman met someone on Tinder, went back to his house for a hookup, which happens all the time, and she was killed and cut up into pieces. So, like, if you're going to hook up with someone, maybe consider a hotel. Like, don't give them your place, don't go to their place. Don't if I would prefer that nobody did it, but I think that's unrealistic. But make sure that you are safe. And the other moments of danger are if you let someone walk you to your car, if your car is in an unlit place and the date was going really well, it's very easy, especially with the kind of drugs that are available, for a quick injection, for a quick overpowering, to put someone in a car, their own car. I mean, all of our cars start because the key is there, right? They don't even have to wrestle the key from you. They just have to overpower you and put you in the back seat of the car, and then drive off. Um, I have a personal friend whose son is gay, and he went on a first date and was told, "Hey, pick me up. This is my address." He showed up at the front door with flowers and was pulled inside and gang raped. So making sure that we're not going to an address, even if they're like, "Oh, it's a party. My friend's throwing a party. You need to come. I need a date." We don't do anything unless it's a public place. And public place does not include somebody's home, because you don't know what kind of party it is. You don't know what kind of people are there.
Oh man, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Hmm. I knew it right from the beginning that I was gonna learn one or two things from you. I'm learning already,
Thank
and
you.
that's amazing. Okay, so we have two more to go, two more questions to go.
Okay.
So, let us talk about men. All right, are men really vulnerable to harm in online dating?
Absolutely. And I think they're almost in some ways more vulnerable because they don't think that they are. So there have been two Netflix shows. I'm blanking on the one, but Baby Reindeer is one of them. And then there's another one about a real life story again, where a man was stalked. So no, a man probably isn't going to be overpowered, probably isn't going to be raped, unless like the scenario that I said where in the gay community there's actually a lot of physical and sexual violence on from online dating. But a straight white man, or straight man in general, isn't going to have that kind of fear when he's meeting a woman on a date. But say he has a hookup, she knows his address, she has his telephone number, can look him up. She now has the power to harass him. And there's really nothing legally that can be done to get somebody out of your life once they know. I mean, you can be terrorized. They can follow your children back and forth from school. Like they might not be able to hurt you, but they can destroy your peace of mind, and they can endanger your children if you have a former spouse. Like anyone that's in your orbit is now vulnerable to an assault from them or harassment, and you
Wow.
yourself are vulnerable to texts, to harassing messages. And there's there are so many ways for somebody to hide their identity that even if you get a restraining order, you can there's no way to prove that they're the ones doing the harassing messages, right? So if it, you're very, very vulnerable, even though you don't realize it. And again, very unlikely this is going to happen, but when it does happen, it's bad.
Hmm. Oh man,
Okay.
very educating, I tell you. Amazing. Oh, a whole lot is going on. You know, that's why it's so important to always seek out knowledge and get to know and understand some certain things. I'm so excited to have you on the show, Kelly. Thank you
Thank,
for explaining those stuffs like that. Amazing
thank
insight.
you so
I
much.
love that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, yeah, beautiful. So to bring this to an end, Kelly, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones
Yeah.
who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, how can that be
Okay.
possible?
Yeah. The first thing I would like to leave is just your safety. You are so important. It is better for some, I get teary eyed. It's better for somebody to be insulted and storm off than for you to ever compromise your safety. And that's actually a really good dating test. If someone can't understand your perspective and how you feel about your safety, they're not going, even if they're like, wow, that's weird, they're not going to respect you in other areas. So it's a good thing to get them out of your life. And the second thing is just know that you're so loved, you're so important, you're so precious. It's important for you to take care of yourself. It's important for you and for everyone that you love. And if anybody wants to find out more, I have an app called Swipe Safely. You can purchase it from swipesafely.com. It's in the middle of being we're launching the end of this week. So today is the 23rd, July 23rd. So if it's not there when you go, make sure you go back. But go to Swipe Safely, purchase the app. I have trainings. There's a community. Just keep yourself safe. Keep yourself safe.
Keep yourself safe. Beautiful. Kelly, amazing. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Okay,
Thank you
so
so much.
yeah, so that's going to be the end of the show, Kelly. Thank you for coming and thank you for, impacting us all with this amazing insight. Thank you so very much, Kelly. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
You, Elisha. Thank you so much. It's just for you to have me. Thanks.